Welcome back to the Dean Rogers Show. Today we got another episode of Deals with Dean, and today I'm going to talk about the second deal I did with HGTV star Tarek El Moussa. Let's go. All right, welcome back. Make sure to like and subscribe. That way you can support this channel and we can stay in touch. Okay, so this second deal that I did with Tarek El Moussa, I got to give credit to social media. This ended up happening and this lead came because the first deal I did with Tarek, I shared on social media, posted about it, did a deal in Los Angeles, somewhere where we're not usually doing deals. And then, of course, the cool part, sold a deal to Tarek El Moussa from HGTV. He's got the show Flip or Flop. He's got new shows coming out. So it was a cool thing to share and had people reach out saying how that was cool. Oh, that's awesome. And lo and behold, one of my buddies who I've done deals with in my local market in Central California saw that, and he happens to live in Los Angeles. Because of that, sometimes he'll get some leads, he'll get some deals in Los Angeles. And so he couldn't help but think, hey, this could be a great buyer. This could be someone good for some leads and some deals that he has. So he reached out and he said, hey, I got a lead. I've worked with the seller before. We just recently closed out a deal. So I've got really good rapport. I think this deal could be another good one for Tarek. So I had a good relationship with Tarek and his team and reached out and said, hey, check out this lead and let me know what you could pay for it. That's what seemed like the best, kind of thing to do because we weren't really sure what the numbers were on this deal, right? When you get into multi-million-dollar deals, sometimes it's an art form to figure out what's the value of it, what are the comps. And so rather than me trying to figure out that myself, I reached out to Tarek and his team and asked that they let us know what they could pay. Well, their response was, well, I think we know what we want to pay on this, but let's get a walkthrough. That way we can get our contractor in there. We can crunch our numbers and know exactly what we're willing to pay. So I went back to my buddy. We coordinated the walkthrough with the seller, and then I coordinated with Tarek and his team. We got their contractors in there, and they came back and said, on this property, we could pay $1.85 million. So I shared that with my buddy, and he said, that's actually the price that the seller was pretty much roundabout numbers was wanting. So all we had to do at that point was negotiate that deal so we could make some money. So some back and forth with the seller, and my buddy was able to negotiate it and get it down to $1.8 million. So that was awesome. Got it locked in with the seller. My buddy got it under contract. And then, like I usually like to do when I'm doing a friends with benefits deal, which is where we will basically help put that deal together, whether we're negotiating with the seller, going on the appointment, we're getting it under contract, we're selling it for top dollar to the end buyer. We're handling the whole escrow process. Whether we're doing all or some of that work, right? In this case, we were helping with the buyer side in escrow. My buddy got it under contract. Then I had him assign it to me. That way I could gain control. And then ultimately I assigned it to Tarek and his team. Now, why did I do that? I like to gain control of that deal and make a streamlined process for that end buyer, right? Because sometimes I'll see some wholesalers and what they'll do is they'll have a wholesale contract and it's got multiple line items for who's making what. And of course that then shows on the closing statement. And the buyer starts to think, well, why are there so many people involved? I'm paying multiple different people, even though it's the same numbers, right? It can sometimes confuse the situation. So like usual, I went ahead and had it assigned to me and I assigned it to Tarek and his team. So we assigned it for a $50,000 assignment fee and got it into escrow. And this was a pretty much smooth sailing deal. They used a hard money lender, went through the whole escrow process, and we got the deal done. So $50,000, like a typical friends with benefits deal, we split it 50-50, and I wired my buddy $25,000. This was an awesome deal because not only was it a friends with benefits deal, but the deal basically just came from sharing different journeys and success of doing my last deal. And because I had built that relationship with Tarek and his team and already had a relationship with that wholesaler, by sharing that first deal, it brought it back around to do another deal. So that's the power of social media, and just a great reason for you to share what you're doing, because that can lead to future opportunities. So another great deal. Was fun to do another deal with Tarek and his team. They've got a great team over there, and it's always fun to close another great deal. All right, if you like this episode, make sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, peace.